Hello, dear friends. What a blessing to be with you today. What a joy to be together to talk once more about the Spiritist magazine. Here we are, another week, another Tuesday evening. We are always here live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today we rejoice because we have one new issue of the Spiritist magazine. I'll remind you to visit spiritistmagazine.org, where you can find all of the resources that we talk about today and much more. And as we do this, I will share with you this is the website of the Spiritist magazine. If you were to visit spiritistmagazine.org, you'll find the link to the newest, brand new, hot, fresh off the presses, issue 67, all dedicated to mediumship and mediumship with Jesus, which is the topic of our article today by Euripedes Barsanulfo. You can download free of charge all of the issues of the magazine here by visiting spiritistmagazine.org. Oops. Mouse. If you wish, you can order the physical copy of the magazine with the partner MagCloud at cost. There is no upcharge. Beautiful works. You can keep it at home. You can keep it at a Spiritist Center. You can use it for your gospel home, for your studies, and much more. Dear friends, we are so blessed to have these resources. And here we have this issue where you can toggle through PDF download. You can go to link and you find the download of the Spiritist magazine. That's how the PDF version shows on my screen. Here's the cover. Here are the many articles we'll be talking about today. Many important topics such as family planning, separation, abandonment, stories from Allan Kardec's Spiritist magazine of 1864. Here we have Joy and Optimism by Carlos Torres Pastorino. We have Prodigies, we have by Umberto de Campos, we have Culture of the Heart by May May, and so much more. And at the end of the magazine, you'll find many resources and stories for children, many of those Spiritist books in English that you can purchase. If you're these books by Luis who actually are trilingual. You have them, the stories in Portuguese, English, and Spanish. He's also have Kardec Flicks and Kardec Publisher. Those are available for purchase for studying with the newest generation. What else do we have? We have a link to contact the editor-in-chief or dear Vanessa Saloni, a link to the Facebook page of the Spiritist magazine to download the app of the magazine that is free of charge that you can have anywhere you go. The link to download the app on the App Store and Google Play. And of course, if it is within your means, you could donate to the Spiritist magazine. Our work is free of charge. However, there are costs that are associated with any enterprise on the earth as well. Dear friends, what a blessing to be here with you today. And as I exit from there, I will be opening my own PDF version here and sharing it with you, because we always want to make it simple. There's no easier way to enjoy this teaching. Spiritistmagazine.org, download straight to your computer, download the app, upload and update the app every time we have a new release, which is every quarter, and you can study. Beautiful covers, beautiful graphics. A huge thank you to the team of the Spiritist magazine who are always producing these teachings for you and I to enjoy. As you download your copy, I ask you to navigate to an article called here, Mediumship and Jesus. Dear friends, in the book, in the Medium's book by Allan Kardec, we learn we are all mediums, but Shane, I don't see spirits, I don't hear spirits, I don't talk to them. Well, you're not an ostensive medium, but there's subliminal mediumship, there is intuition. The spirit mentors and guides of each and every one of us are by our side. When we ask them for direction, for counseling, they answer. We are always inspired wherever we go by the spiritual counselors, the spiritual directors of the many organizations that we have on the earth. So every time you go to a spiritist center, there's a whole host of spirits there. So mediumship matters, even if you're not psychography, if you're not um, having psychophony, speaking, this person speaking for you, because we're always perceiving spirits, receiving their counsel, receiving their ideas. And sometimes these may be from spirits who are, more attached to lower intuition and lower vibrational levels, so leading us to go astray in our actions towards the good each and every day. So it's important that we understand what mediumship is. The Medium's book is the practical guide for mediumship. And it's also important that we understand that there's no mediumship without the guidance of our Master Jesus. So shall we? So as you peruse the magazine, this is the way it shows on my computer. And as you know me, I'll be zooming so we can zoom the text so we can read. This article, this message is from the spirit Euripedes Barsanulfo through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Make it bigger so you and I can read together. And Euripedes Barsanulfo, when he was on the earth, did so much good for spiritist education and so on, and also was the medium who received messages, including one we'll read another time from Mother Mary and from Jesus himself. So it's very important that we listen to what he has to say. To those who today mock mediumship in the name of the Christ, naturally forget that Jesus was the one who honored it most in this world, raising mediumship to the highest level of improvement and revelation to support his eternal doctrine among humankind. Many point to the Bible, correct? In order to say there is a prohibition in speaking with the spirits. But there's a very specific reason why Moses puts that prohibition on folks. Because those who talk to the spirits without preparation, without knowledge, might end up in alignment with spirits of lower vibrational attunement. Those who we find in the Spirit's book being imperfect spirits, even more imperfect than we are, they're going to answer. If you ask, they're going to answer. Because imagine if you go to someone who reads, so do readings for pay, and you ask questions that are frivolous spirits will answer. So there was a need to curb that interaction. But we know Jesus himself honored mediumship, and he raised it to the highest level of improvement and revelation. So mediumship, if you are an ostensive medium, serves for improvement of the medium, because we have to work on our deficiencies. We have to use the talents we have, understand areas for improvement, and then we have so that we can attune with the good spirits and we can be a good vessel. And of course, mediumship is free. Therefore, the fruits of mediumship need to be shared with all free of charge. And revelation, the spirits can tell us things, the spirits can guide us, they're prophets, right? And then mediumship serves to support his eternal doctrine amongst us. When mediumship is aligned with good deeds for the common good, it can support the continuation of the good works of the Christ here. This is how the divine apostolate begins, sanctifying its values in clairaudience and clairvoyance between Mary, mother of Jesus, and Elizabeth, Joseph and Zachariah, Anna and Simon, in the establishment of the good news. So these are examples we can find on the Bible where these individuals receive messages from messengers that we may call angels, guardian angels. Sometimes the messages come through dreams to us, right? So this is how mediumship can be sanctified. We can receive messages and inspiration and guidance from our mentors. Jesus exalted mediumship in the inspiration talking with the doctors of the temple. When he went to talk about the doctrine, the law of Moses, right? And he was there to minister his own teachings, what we call today the New Testament. He was inspired by who? By God. And of course, as the governor of this planet, he knew the Torah and its teachings much more than the doctors of the temple. So he was there in the inspiration when he was talking to them. He exalted mediumship in the phenomenon of physical effects when transforming water into wine at the wedding feast. In the Medium's book, we find what do we find? A practical guide to mediumship. And there, Kardec, as the most beautiful educator that we know, he classifies different types of mediumship, right? So here's a phenomenon of physical effects. It could be the Fox sisters talking to the spirit who started the spiritualist movement in New York. And then later we have the tables turning and the people who attracted attention of folks and researchers and educators such as Kardec who were there to investigate. The blessings of this mediumship allows us today to have the Spiritist doctrine, and that started here in the land of the free, the home of the brave, right? He, Jesus, sublimated mediumship in the activities of healing when transmitting healing passes to the blind and paralyzed, the discouraged and afflicted, restoring their health. So when we are doing healing, there are healing mediums on the earth everywhere, not just in Spiritism, right? The laying of hands, many spiritual traditions do this. Perhaps you're a past giver, you are at the Spiritist Center, you know the importance of having preparation, knowledge, also this technique. But ultimately, we are transmitting healing spiritual fluids as we learn in the book Genesis, to perhaps heal, but mostly to harmonize. So Jesus was the ultimate medium of God, and with the ultimate purification of a superior Christ spirit, he could heal and restore health. Maybe we'll do a little bit less on a co-creator on a smaller plane, but that's also mediumship. He illustrated mediumship in levitation when he walked on water, right? He defied what? The laws of gravity. You and I can't walk on water, then we would sink. He dignified mediumship in the tasks of disobsession when instructing and consoling the suffering discarnate spirits linked to the mentally ill who appeared before him. So that's another use of mediumship. We can help by instructing and consoling suffering discarnate spirits, even if, especially if you're in a mediumistic session at the Spiritist Center. But if you're not, you can still instruct and console those who suffer, incarnate or discarnate, with your word, with the things that we say, how we console them, and most importantly, with our actions. Jesus was able to do all of this because of his moral superiority as a Christ spirit. But we can, within our realm, to also do it as well. He glorified mediumship materialization when he transfigured himself alongside radiant spirits on the top of the Mount of Tabor, right? Where his apostles saw him with other three spirits. Jesus always elevated mediumship in, oops, we'll make it a little bigger. In sublimated magnetism, when relieving the sick with his simple presence. Don't we know people who have that presence? They emanate goodness. Divaldo, Chico, I'm sure, the Dalai Lama, they all have this presence, this magnetism. When revitalizing cadaverous bodies, when multiplying loaves and fishes for the hungry crowd, or when pacifying forces of nature. We may not be able to say, cloud, go away, but there are spirits under the guidance of Jesus who do what? We learn this in very detail in the book Evolution in Two Worlds. For example, there are spirits who take care of the climate, who take care of the ocean, who can take care of the water, the rocks. So that's mediumship and magneship. Jesus confirmed the exchange between the living on earth and the living in eternity. When he reappeared before his astonished disciples, outlining plans of redemption that culminate in the day of the Pentecost, the unforgettable moment in the gospel or of the gospel when his messengers convert the apostles into speaking mediums in the public square to enlighten the people in need. So mediumship is nothing more than this exchange. And if we are open to the exchange, it can happen even without ostensive mediumship. Some of us were prepared, hopefully spend some time in the spiritual realm, preparing to return with more extensive mediumship with the purpose of improvement and redemption, revelation, right? Evolution. So every action, which inspiration of your word, of your actions can be a moment for that intuitive mediumship to flourish. If someone is an ostensive medium and you're not prepared and don't study and don't know, they might be in communication with spirits who are not here to make him or her progress, but are there to cause more trouble because we attunement. It's about attunement. The sum of all my thoughts, sentiments, and actions produce certain magnetism, certain vibrational, let's say, thought patterns and waves that attract like. So I'm constantly in good thoughts and good deeds and good actions or attract the good spirits. Then I'm more able to help those who suffer when time comes. But Jesus did all of these. So everywhere in the world you are, if you know those who are mediums, encourage them to study, to practice, to help others, to serve. Give them the medium's book, have them read, and have them inspire. I bet there's way more mediums in the world than we imagine because nobody who is in attunement with their own guardian angels and with spirits that they hear and they see or encouraging them to do the good are seeking psychiatric, psychological help. Usually, when we have, well, what science would call hallucinations, that are negative, that's when you go to the doctor. But what we first do is make sure there are no physical ailments that could be causing the phenomenon. We take care of the physical body, which is an instrument for us to be incarnated on the earth. And then as we know of the capabilities of each and everyone's mediumship, this exchange of the two realms can be more refined, can be educational for us. If we remain in darkness, meaning we remain with actions, thoughts, patterns, and sentiments that misalign with the divine laws, then we attune with like-minded spirits, and then there are consequences, usually negative. But if we every day we improve and try to get better, then in the future we can attune with the good spirits. Where there's a will, there is a way. When there's good thoughts and good deeds, there are good spirits around us just waiting. There are much more of them than there is darkness in the universe, and we want to tune with the good spirits. So, what is mediumship? Euripedes Barsanulfo says, as it is easy to see, mediumship is a spiritual resource for attunement. So, who are you attuning with today? Who will you attune with for the rest of the week until we meet again next week? It depends on what we think. Depends on what we feel. It depends on what we do. Then there is attunement. It is not the Spiritist doctrine per se, which currently expresses revived Christianity. Mediumship, when ennobled by honesty and faith, education and virtue, is the respectable vehicle of conviction in the soul survival. So we know, dear friends, as Spiritists, that we are immortal beings. So we want to know, we want to let people know that they're more than the physical body. With so many things happen around the world during our planetary transition, which are the sum of our actions, the results of our choices in the past and in the present. The difficulties, the disillusionments. We want people to know that they're immortal, there's more to this. Otherwise, they might fall into despair. Then we want to know, if I am a spirit and I am immortal, because we can tell other people we can only control our own actions. Then if I discarnate and I'm in the other side looking in, I want to help. I want people know that it's okay to be a medium. That is blessed to be a medium. It might be hard. Nothing on this earth is easy. Even though we seek easy and we think easy is having things and money, which makes things sometimes harder in the afterlife, next lives. Then we know the more we educate, the more we are honest, we have faith in God, we count on the counsels of the good spirits for intuitive mediumship, and we let people know that we can better practice and actualize and be an agent of the good in the lives of all of those around us, in our lives and the lives of others. But mediumship is for the common good. Therefore, let us not be angry with those who persecute mediumship for ridicule. Some people will say, oh, that medium, they're going crazy. I work in science, and if I said that there are mediums, they probably would think that I've lost my mind. But they don't need to know, right? Maybe some of them will watch this and think I've lost my marbles, but that's okay, because I shouldn't be angry, as Euripedes Barsanulfo says. One day they will discarnate. And then if we know that we are immortal, the mediumship can be this vehicle of healing, of consolation, of speaking with those who are discarnated and don't know, don't realize their suffering can be rescued. Then I can prepare to discarnate and find myself in a better position in the afterlife. The more you know, the more you have agency to change, to improve, to study. Or some people may discarnate and find themselves in a worse situation than they started. Book No Solar, André Luiz starts working, and there is a whole pavilion with many dozens of spirits who are the half dead. They believed in nothingness after this physical life. They incurred in many crimes, took advantage of people, hurt other people, took people's lives, took people's monies, cheated on people, destroyed families and homes. They found themselves doing what in the afterlife? We don't become angels and go play harp in the clouds. To all due respect to the harps in the cloud, we become what we are. There's a change in state. So we want to believe there is more. We want to live as if we know there is more. There was a previous life and a discarnation, an errant state, and there will be. So if I find myself in the afterlife, which, not wishing for anybody to discarnate. So I'm saying that's why I'm using the word my mind now. And I'm suffering. I want to come back and know that there are mediums that can potentially help me. And if I know someone who discarnated, we pray that they also do better, and maybe they'll find a point of light, like a Spiritist center, especially where we are, which in the US are very few. In my state, there's only two, the one I'm in and the one in the north part of this state, in Virginia. So not many options. So we want to learn. We want to learn, and we always need to do everything with Christ in mind. Sad deniers of the Christian reality, even when they hide under the venerable badges of human authority, because mediumistic talents were incessantly in the hands of Jesus, our divine master, who must be considered by all of us as being the exalted medium of God. So there's no mediumship without Jesus. Jesus is the governor of the planet who is guiding the evolution of the planet with his cabinet of superior spirits. And they have their workers, we have our mentors, all within the plan of the Christ, with Christ at the helm, the exalted medium of God, transmitting to you and I God's designs and wills for the earth. What do we need to do? We need to be an instrument of good in the world. By watching this, by liking this, by commenting, by sharing it, by subscribing, following, whatever the medium is, you are being an instrument of the good, because this message of mediumship may reach someone who is a medium, doesn't understand, doesn't know, and get to know of it. And therefore, you're saving a life. You're bringing consolations with your actions, with your words. Remember, Jesus healed people with his hand. He healed people when he was speaking with the incarnate beings who were so sick, but due to obsession, he was able to free them from that spiritual obsession. He multiplied the fish and created, he materialized in front of others. He transformed the water into wine as his first miracle and declaration of his ministry in the gospel in the wedding in Cana. You also can be an instrument of the good, ostensive mediumship or subliminal mediumship. It's up to us to choose to be an instrument of the good, to be a good vessel, to be a receptacle, right? Because we don't want water to pour into a dirty receptacle, metaphorically speaking. We want water to go through clear through us into those, because Jesus put you here on the earth, meaning he allowed you to reincarnate within a circle, to live in a specific place with a series of talents, series of duties, and then it's up to us to fulfill our plan, fulfill our master plan with the guidance of our master, under the help and support of our guardian angels given to us by Jesus. So today, dear friends, we finish this by citation. In Spiritism, as a science, we always need to cite and let people know where we find things. This is from the book Através do Tempo, Throughout Time, by several spirit authors, through Chico Xavier, by the Spiritist Federation in Brazil, still not yet in English, but here in English firsthand to you at the Spiritist magazine. Don't forget, visit spiritistmagazine.org. Download your copy. Send a message to the editor-in-chief if you have a talent you want to share. Visit Kardec Radio, visit Kardec Flix, Kardec Publisher, so many beautiful resources for our spiritual growth on the earth. Thank you so very much for joining me today. What a blessing to be with you. Until next week, I wish you many blessings. I hope that you can have a lovely evening. Stay around to join our dear friend Carol Correa with her study of the divine laws. Stay well, stay safe, and God willing, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.